what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records, and we're doing an album review of one of my favorite artists and bass players in the last 30 years, Oteil Burbridge, and his new record, Lovely View of Heaven. Lovely View of Heaven is a reference to the Jerry Garcia, Robert Hunter song, Standing on the Moon, and that's what this album is. This is a tribute to Jerry Garcia, of the Grateful Dead, of course, and Robert Hunter. Robert Hunter wrote all the lyrics for Jerry Garcia's songs. And what this came out on Friday, so it came out 2 days ago. This is produced by Alan Evans. This is an 8 record. It was recorded, I think, in Iceland, and we're going to get into every track on it. One of the things about Robert Hunter and Jerry Garcia, well, one, it's a partnership similar to the Bernie Taupin, Elton John, relationship where Bernie's writing the lyrics and Elton's doing the music. He was a poet. Robert Hunter was a poet. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple years ago. His lyrics were funny at times, witty at times, clever, beautiful. And this album of the 9 tracks really focuses on the ballads. And when I saw the track list, I'm like, wow, this is, pretty sleepy track list. But what it does here is it just highlights those great lyrics. Let's talk about it. Stella Blue. There's a video that got dropped this weekend on that. Maybe been dropped a couple weeks ago, where they're showing the studio. Tom Garna is the guitar player on this song. He takes a fantastic solo. Oteil says that he wants this album to do, look at that cover. He says, obviously you can't make the Grateful Dead's music better, but I hope to reveal another angle of perspective. I hope to reveal another angle of perspective to the Grateful Dead's music, and specifically Robert Hunter and Garcia. And he does here. It's sparse, it's heartbreaking. When you're hearing these lyrics under very minimalized music, you really get the point. Jason Crosby plays piano and organ and strings on this record. Pete Lavzoli plays drums, and Adam Tenenbaum plays guitar sounds. Just one of the best songs on the record, Stella Blue, of course. High Times next, one of my favorite Garcia Hunter songs, stripped way back. Again, Oteil, and I hope I don't get blown up for saying this, Oteil has a good voice. Oteil doesn't have a great voice, but like Jerry Garcia, there's a lot of humanity in his voice. He's singing with all his passion and singing some songs that are high, and he sings in a higher register. He really just is naked on this record, showing you the passion that he can sing with, and I do love his voice, and I'm not saying, I don't think a classically trained person would say that he has a great voice in that sense, but it works really well here. Days Between. Steve Kimmock plays guitar on this, and John Kimmock plays drums. Steve's been in the Dead camp for years, since the early 80s, working with Bobby. Days Between is one of the last great Garcia Hunter compositions. It never got recorded on a proper album. They didn't have time before Garcia died to get that last album out. It's almost like a meditation on Days Between. Mission in the Rain is next, which is the Garcia Hunter that was used primarily in Jerry's solo career. Again, naked and vulnerable vocals. The album takes its time. There's no rush here. I listened to this when it first came out on Friday, and I've listened to it a couple more times, and I'm listening to it this Sunday morning. This is not your Grateful Dead boogie record. This is very mellow and very contemplating. Again, the Garna solo is great on Mission in the Rain. So Many Roads, another late period Garcia Hunter composition, just beautiful, almost light jazz. Refreshing to not copy the Grateful Dead style. This is not, fully copying a Grateful Dead sound with, there's very little instrumentation on this record. really brings the lyrics into the forefront. Adam Tannenbaum is highlighted on guitar sounds here. And again, on So Many Roads, we have Steve and John Kimmick. Believe It or Not is another song that I don't know very well. The Grateful Dead, it was written for their 1989 album, Built to Last, but it did not make the record. The Grateful Dead performed it half a dozen times in 88 and one time in 1990. It's a ballad, and it works pretty darn well here, especially to hear a Hunter Garcia song that we're not familiar with. Next is China Doll. These are songs that Oteil, Burbridge. By the way, Oteil was first came on my radar, and when I was at school down in Mississippi, he was in a band called with Colonel Bruce Hampton and the Aquarium Rescue Unit. He was the bass player. I saw them many times in small clubs. I've met Oteil. That band also featured Jimmy Herring on guitar, who's now in Widespread Panic, and Colonel Bruce Hampton. Colonel Bruce left. He did an album with just as the Aquarium Rescue Unit, and then after Alan Woody left to form Government Mule with Warren Haynes, Oteil replaced Alan Woody and the Allman Brothers until they ended in 2014, I think. And then, of course, he's been the bass player for Dead and Company, and still is. China Doll is one of the songs that he performs quite a bit with Dead and Company. Again, mellow as you can get. I mean, with some strings. When I say this is a mellow record, it's an understatement. Standing on the Moon, again, a Sunday morning track and a Sunday morning album. Again, this is not a party record, people, but it's good. I would say this about this album and Standing on the Moon. I wish there were some horns, because I think it works in a good jazz element. And I wish there was more soloing. Oteil's a great bass player, and he's got, Tom Garna on guitar and Steve Kimmick, and there's very little soloing. I kind of wish there was a little bit more of that. And then High Time is next, a bonus track. Of course, that was already on here on the second track. They do it again as a bonus track, and this time with Oteil Burbridge's brother, Kofi Burbridge. Kofi was in Derek Trucks' original band. He was also in Tedeschi Trucks' band. He is a multi-instrumentalist, keyboard player, organ player, piano player, and flute player, and he plays a beautiful flute solo at the end of this. It's a beautiful tribute. Kofi Burbridge. Check out those first Derek Trucks albums. By the way, check out my channel. Subscribe if you like. I do shows every day. I really appreciate the support. We're going to do our best to highlight great music and be positive on this channel. Again, some nice flute over horns. This is a nice record. My rating system is this. 5 is a drop dead classic. 4 is great. 3 is good. 2 is not good, and 1 is bad. This is a 3.5. This is better than good. I don't think this is a great album. It's a little bit too mellow for me. But if you take the individually songs track by track, they are great. I don't know that 9 songs that mellow works for me. It gets a little bit too slow. But again, if you take a track like Stella Blue or Days Between or So Many Roads and just take them on their own merit, man, it's a way of rediscovering this band. Subscribe to my channel, share these videos, like these videos. Peace out. See you.